The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. It is the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on a Monday morning. We are back. A little break that we had to take due to work stuff and all that kind of stuff, but we're back. We're finally back. Our dude Tommy Cananza saying, "What's good, Tip? What's good with you, Tommy? Hope that you were having yourself a great day, a better weekend than CeeDee Lamb. When you're not even dressed to play in the game, you're on the sideline, you get ran over by a referee, and then you get flagged for being ran over by the referee because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time." Also, if you slow down that video where CeeDee Lamb gets ran over by the referee, I thought he was going to wind up getting hurt. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a video out there. I got to find the video. I haven't been able to find a good copy of that video. But there's a video out there of CeeDee Lamb getting ran over by a referee. I didn't get to watch the Cowboys game. I know they lost again. Yeah, that ref does need a contract. I feel like I know the referee has to kind of like look down the sideline, but how bad is your peripheral vision if you can't see someone right in front of you and you just run right through them? Like, I'm blind. I know I'm blind. But, like, that's why I can never be a referee. Or maybe I'd be a great referee. But you've got to be able to see the people on the sideline. You've got to be able to at least know some of that stuff, right? Like, you got to have a feel for the game. You don't just run right through people. Like, CeeDee Lamb could have really been hurt. Now, again, that's on CeeDee Lamb. He's not supposed to be in that part of the field, on that part of the sideline. You got to give the ref their space. That's the reason why he was flagged. You got to give them their space. And that's exactly what Tommy's saying. That's what the get back coaches are there for. LOL. Yeah, like you would expect one of the guys to be like, hey, CeeDee, you can't be there. And CD, like, he was there for a while. He was celebrating. Joe Milton throws up a deep pass. Joe Milton, cannon, an absolute cannon. I'm happy as a Cowboys fan that he's our backup quarterback. Like I love. Don't get me wrong, I loved Cooper Rush, but he was very limited on what he was able to do. Having Joe Milton there, I feel like if Dak were to go down, Joe Milton would be able to sustain the offense a little better than what Cooper Rush did. I like Joe Milton. And if things go sideways with Dak, you can move on, and Joe Milton would be a pretty decent quarterback, I think. But CeeDee Lamb getting ran over, that to me was the highlight of the weekend. Now, the Cowboys lost, obviously, like it's preseason stuff. I sent a joke out to my friends with the National Professional Sports Show, National Stream of Sports, all of them, that I was despondent beyond repair. Moose's Q saying, "What's up, Mike?" Totally agree. What's up, Moose? Hope that you were having yourself a great day over on Instagram. I see he joined as well, or Eki joined as well. Tommy Cananza talking about Joe Milton saying he needs to work on the accuracy, though. Maybe it was game 2 jitters, but he was horrible that first quarter. I don't care about wins and losses in the preseason. I'm the same way. I just like messing with people. I was like, the Cowboys are going to go 0-17. They lost to the Rams in preseason football. I do want to take a chance a moment right now to give a little bit of love to our guy, Dion Hankins, friend of the show, friend of mine, amazing young man, catching his first preseason touchdown yesterday for the Chicago Bears. That was awesome to see, awesome to witness. I really hope that that's one of the things that can separate him from some of the other running backs there. He can make the roster. He can continue to be on the roster and make an impact for that team. I think that would be awesome. Absolutely awesome for Dion Hankins to be able to, and I get it, it's the Bears, it's all that stuff. Yeah. So I think they found a running back in the 7th round in Phil Moffitt. Yeah, there's a real possibility. I like what the Cowboys have done. I really do. I think most teams did. I think most teams did a solid draft, right? Like everyone's got to. You're gonna love everyone's draft, but I feel like what the Cowboys did, addressing all the needs they had, and I know, I feel like every Monday from now on, or every day following like a Cowboys game, we're going to be super hyperbolic and very Cowboys heavy, which I'm cool with. I am absolutely cool with. But I just I love what the Cowboys did. I genuinely do, and I feel like you can get value at the running back position anywhere, right? Sure, paying Saquon's fine, paying Derrick Henry's fine. But we see if the Dallas Cowboys can have a healthy offensive line, I feel like anybody can be a running back there. And if you have 2 running backs that can get you 500 yards each, you got yourself a 1,000-yard rusher. With the Cowboys offense, that's really all you need. You need a guy that can help you keep a little bit of balance on the offense. You don't need a big, huge name guy, right? You just need someone that there's a threat to run the ball. And I like what the Dallas Cowboys did. I went back, I watched some of the highlights. I like what the Dallas Cowboys did. I like the way they looked in the preseason. Yes, I know they lost, but the Jets won in the preseason. Arizona beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the preseason. That's not happening in the regular season. It's just not happening in the regular season. The preseason is there to just get healthy, get your scheme, do all that stuff. Tommy Cananza saying, I was disappointed in the D-line depth. They did some good things, but overall they struggled in run defense. That's going to be the Dallas Cowboys issue all season, right? they have all their eggs in a basket that they're going to be playing with the lead. And if you can have the lead and you're the Dallas Cowboys, you get up by a couple of tutties, 10 points or more, and you force teams to become one-dimensional, then sure, right? Like the way you built your defense is what really helps you out. But whenever you look at teams that run the ball and run the ball well, you got one of them in your division. And I don't see how the Dallas Cowboys defense would be able to hold up against them. But that's been the issue the Cowboys have had over the last couple of years, right? Even going back to, 2 years ago, where they lost to Green Bay in the playoffs. They couldn't stop the run. They just can't. I don't know what it is. They're not a run-stopping team. I wonder if there's any defensive tackles, but I also feel like it's too late. Like it's super late to try to sign some of these guys that are like defense. I know one guy that's ready to play. God, could you imagine the jokes the Dallas Cowboys would get if they signed Christian Wilkins? My dude Bistrilla saying, what's good, Tip? Good morning to you, Bistrilla. Hope that you're having a great day, had a great weekend. Sorry I couldn't join you on any of the shows this past week. I will be available this week and next week. So we got that going for you. Jay Toya, Perion Winfrey did some good things. They did, but can you see those guys as starting in the NFL? You know what I mean? And that's what preseason is like you're trying to get depth and stuff like that. I want to see dudes in the preseason that are my depth guys balling out of control, right? Like that's what I want to see. I want to see those guys that are my depth pieces proven to me that they can dominate backups. So if you can dominate backups, you can hold your own against the starters. That's what I want to see. That's all I care about. I want to see absolute dominance, but it's hard to do because that's what other teams are trying to do, right? There's a part of me right now that wants the Dallas Cowboys to sign Christian Wilkins to help out against that run game. Nobody, no running back out there in their right mind, given everything you know about Christian Wilkins, no running back would want to run towards that guy and let him tackle you. He would be a solid interior defensive lineman for the Dallas Cowboys. I might be the only one that said that thinks that. I'm looking like edge guys. Maybe you could bring some of these guys in. Like you still have Matthew Judon's out there, Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, Jadeveon Clowney. But I think that the Achilles heel, for the Dallas Cowboys is going to be their run defense. I genuinely believe that. But once again, we've seen this team, like they have a great offensive team. If they can make teams one-dimensional, like they did a couple of years ago, if the Dallas Cowboys can go that route, then I think that the defense they have would be great. Right? Like because you have edge rusher, you're getting after the quarterback. All you need to do is get a lead and hold on to it. And they have the type of defense that can help them hold on to the lead. Donnie Canon's saying they don't need to start. They will be a part of the rotation, but I think Winfrey can take Mozzie's spot. I'm officially saying Mozzie is a bust. He looks terrible against backups. Yeah. That was a reach for the Cowboys, and it looks like it was a bad draft for the Cowboys. Solid in college. Doesn't look like he's going to pan out in the NFL. I want to see, like, what his stats have been. Like, Mozzie's stats and stuff. Like, for his career, 34 games, 2 sacks, 31 tackles. And he got 22 of those tackles last season. He's been in the NFL for 2 years. Started on every game last year for the Cowboys. It's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like it could be too early to give up on him. But man, like when do you stop? Like, because he's only 24 years old, right? Like, that's the thing. Cowboys need to stop drafting Michigan D linemen. Shake my head, LOL. Yeah, it feels that way, doesn't it, Tommy? like anytime the Dallas Cowboys draft anybody from Michigan, I don't think it works out for the Cowboys very well. Who was drafted after, like, what defensive players were drafted after Mozzie Smith? That's how it'd be the 2023 NFL draft. So we can see, like, who the Cowboys could have had, right? I'm looking at some of these names, and I'm just kind of like, I'm not impressed by them. Oh, you could have had Sam Laporta in the second round, so never mind. But the Cowboys have solid tight end help. The Dallas Cowboys have a solid tight end grouping here. I'm looking for anyone that's on the defensive line that looks like they could have been better than Mozzie so far. I'm not really seeing anybody that was drafted after Mozzie was. I mean, now, again, I'm seeing like a lot of names here that I would have drafted ahead of Mozzie. Joey Porter, Sam Laporta, right? Like, you got guys like that. That's funny that Jonathan Mingo's already on the Dallas Cowboys. I don't know. The Cowboys do a great job of getting rid of guys that aren't, living up to expectation. Like, they're good at moving on and getting away from players that aren't great, right? Like they're good at doing that. But I also don't want to just give up on Mozzie Smith this early. Like, there's a part of me that says to myself, maybe, just maybe, right? Like 6'3", 337, you should be able to do whatever you want to do along that defensive line. And maybe at 24 years old, maybe this is the season that it all comes together. But also, how long do you wait if you're the Dallas Cowboys? Because, like I said, like, no, I agree. I'm just thinking about, like, defensive linemen that you could have had, right? Because I think the Cowboys were going after the defensive line at that point, and what they wound up doing, like I said, I agree with you. There's names on here that I would have taken. Nolan Smith, you're right. Joey Porter Jr., I would have taken. Sam Laporta, I would have taken over Mozzie Smith. But if you were trying to address the defensive line like the Dallas Cowboys were doing, like they want to try to stop the run, is what the Dallas Cowboys are trying to do. I'm not finding a lot of defensive linemen here. Like Isaiah Foskey, are we saying that he's had a better? Yeah, and that's exactly what, like, he might have just been the best of a bad situation, is what Mozzie Smith was. Lions 24K saying, hey, it's me, Caleb. What's up, Caleb? Hope that you're having yourself a great day. One of my former students at the Idea Public Schools. You should be in class right now, young man, but it's all good. Maybe you're taking a break from all the hard schoolwork. I know the kids going back to school, second week of the school year. Wild. My youngest son's already in 8th grade, making me feel old. This parenting stuff is difficult whenever you got kids that you want to just keep young forever. Because I mean, like I said, I agree with you, Tommy. Like if we're talking about like just names that we would have drafted ahead of Mozzie Smith, then I would have taken like Rishi Rice and players like that. Jacob is here with you. What's up, Jacob? Shouldn't you guys be in class? I appreciate the love and the support, but don't get in trouble watching my silly stuff. No, you have a different principle. That's a different topic for another day. The Cricket Commish saying, "What's up, Money Mike and TC? My team finished with a tie, so I guess that's better than losing." Also, Cricket Commish, I know you're a Bears fan. Dion Hankins, UTEP's own, El Paso's own Dion Hankins. We are supporting him 100%. So the Bears might be like our tertiary team, our third team. Caleb saying, "No, we're not going back to class. We're not gonna take it." Dion Hankins, friend of the show, was on Fire and Ice a couple of weeks ago. Got you guys a tutty for the Chicago Bears yesterday. Case Keenum. I was surprised to see the corpse of Case Keenum still out there doing it in the NFL. Caleb and the crew saying, "We miss you." I miss you guys as well. I got nothing but love for y'all. Once again, the students, anytime I've been a teacher, my students have been absolutely amazing. It's all the other bull stuff that you got to put up with that I don't want to deal with. But my students were absolutely amazing. Augustine coming in and saying, "What's up, people?" The Cricket Commish getting himself a little bit of love from our guy, Tommy Cananza. Augustine saying, "Good morning, great week." Are you saying great week because the Dallas Cowboys lost? Star Angie 8 tuning in over on Instagram as well. I know it's a 4, but I'm assuming you're changing that for an A. So I'm saying Star Angie 8. We're not talking about wins and losses. We're not talking about preseason wins and losses. Although I did tell B. Strilla and everyone else that I thought now, because the Cowboys lost in week 1, that they were going to wind up being 0-17. 0-17 Dallas Cowboys this year because we lost in the preseason. It's always a great week when the boys don't do well. Augustine Pimentel, the hating-ass hater of the year. Also, I was saying, how about Shedeur Sanders? I saw a bunch of stuff from people talking about Shedeur Sanders. I know he threw a touchdown. I'm not going to lie to y'all. I haven't done much in researching Shedeur Sanders. But let's see how he did. A 61% completion percentage, and that's with me rounding up. 2 tutties. The Browns get the win. 138 yards. 23 attempts. 14 completions. 6 yards per attempt. And a 106.8 ranking. Quarterback rating. I feel like those are pretty pedestrian, normal preseason numbers. And I saw all these people being like, "Oh my gosh, Shedeur Sanders, he must have played a ton of time in there, right? Because Dylan Gabriel's hurt. Joe Flacco's not going to play. I don't think Deshaun Watson was going to play. I got to see, and maybe one of y'all can help me out. How long did he play? Like, did he play? I'm sure he played the majority of the games if he got 24 attempts or 23 attempts. Anytime I see that Deion Sanders and LeBron James are buzzed on social media about Shedeur Sanders' NFL debut, I'm not going to be taken in by it. What'd you think about Shedeur, Augustine? Because, like, if that's, maybe I got to research it. I know that's not one quarter. That's a lot more than a quarter. Displays accuracy, completing 60% of his passes. If a Dallas Cowboys quarterback completed 60% of his passes, they'd be like, oh, this guy sucks. Shedeur Sanders completes 60% of his passes, and they're saying that he's amazing. He demonstrated poise and was effective in the red zone. He looked like he belonged. That's some good praise. And like I said, I'm not praying on the downfall of Shedeur Sanders. I hope Shedeur does well. But I want to see how long he played in that game. 6 quarterbacks on the Cleveland Browns roster. I wish they had better stat keeping for the preseason games. It doesn't tell me. Well, I said, it seems like he had to have played more than one quarter. Augustine saying, so if he got praise from a lot of people, did he get praise for his playing or for his last name? That's a great question. I think there's always going to, and we spoke about this, right? Like we've spoken about this a few times. When it comes to Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, Shedeur Sanders is in the prime spot, right? The backup quarterback is always more popular than the starting quarterback did. He played under 3 quarters. I mean, so that's a half of football. I'm not really impressed with it. You know what I mean? Against backups, against whatever, okay, you came out there, you were all right. Just because you played well in the preseason doesn't mean you're going to play well in the regular season. But I think that a lot of it comes down to Shedeur Sanders is going to get overhyped on both ends, right? If he were to have thrown an interception, oh, look how bad he is at protecting the ball. He throws 2 touchdowns. Oh, my God, he's an amazing quarterback. He completed 60% of his passes. That's not great. I'm going to go back and look at what quarterbacks everyone's quarterback completion percentage of 2024. Oh, that's not going to help me out. We're going to go with the top quarterbacks here. And the only one quarterback, 2 quarterbacks. Now I see a second one here. 2 quarterbacks completed 60% of their passes. 2 quarterbacks last year. Starting quarterbacks, 2 of them completed 60% of their passes last year. It's Bryce Young and it's Trevor Lawrence. And you wouldn't say that Bryce Young and Trevor Lawrence had a great season last year. You would say Bryce Young did a lot to make it seem like, he's not the bust that everyone thought he was going to be at the beginning of the season. Trevor Lawrence completed 60% of his passes and was looked at as a bust. Every other quarterback out there had a higher completion percentage than what Shedeur Sanders had. Shedeur Sanders would have been the 29th ranked quarterback in just his completion percentage. It's clearly all the hype. And the worst part about all this hype is that it's just the tip of all this hype.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip? Just the tip.
It's time for
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Visit www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout. Save on all your male grooming needs. It's the hot dog days of summer. There's a lot of humidity out there. Make sure you're smelling good with the whole body deodorant. Make sure your boys are feeling nice and fresh, not sticking to you the way they always do. You ain't got to do the stanky leg to get them nice and loose from you. Use the www.myhappynuts comfort cream. Once again, promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all of your male grooming needs. I was happy to see like people hyped up and excited about just the NFL being back, all that good stuff. So I changed my search here. I wanted to see how many quarterbacks last year, because once again, it's backup, right? So maybe just those one game samples, just a couple of games. How many quarterbacks out there had a better completion percentage than Shedeur Sanders had right now? And it's Marcus Mariota, it's Joe Milton, it's Tua, it's Jared Goff, it's Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, Tommy DeVito of all people, Geno Smith, Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Josh Dobbs, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, Kirk Cousins, Lamar Jackson, Tanner McKee, Drake May, Gardner Minshew, Bo Nix, Andy Dalton, Sam Darnold, Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert, Jimmy Garoppolo, Justin Fields, Matt Stafford, Joe Flacco, Mac Jones, Dak Prescott, Tyler Huntley, Mason Rudolph, Russell Wilson, Josh Allen, Deshaun Watson, Aiden O'Connell, Daniel Jones, C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers, Caleb Williams, Desmond Ridder, Jameis Winston, Bryce Young, Cooper Rush, Trevor Lawrence. The last three quarterbacks all threw 60%. Just like Shedeur Sanders did. So we're talking about a list that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. 45 quarterbacks in the NFL last year threw the same completion percentage or higher than what Shedeur Sanders did this weekend. And he's getting praise like he's doing something amazing. He would have been the 45th quarterback in the NFL. The 45th ranked quarterback in the NFL in completion percentage. And we're making it seem as though he had a phenomenal completion percentage in the preseason against backups. Augustine asking if I can count them again. I know that was a long-ass list. It was longer than what I thought. I thought it was going to be like 33 players. It wound up being 45. 47 if you don't jumble the last three all as one like I did. And there you go. Like, it would have been cool if he was 47th, LOL. So he would have been 40. Well, no, because Bryce Young had a slightly higher completion percentage by tenths of points. So Shedeur Sanders would have been the 46th highest quarterback rate, completion percentage of last season. Beating out Drew Lock, Jacoby Brissett, and Michael Penix. Not a good look for Michael Penix. I thought he did better than that. Might have to change my pick here for what I thought the Falcons were going to do. Didn't realize Michael Penix Jr. was that low. 58% for Michael Penix Jr. Wow. All I'm saying, guys, and maybe I'm doing the same thing too. Like, right, I see that my girl Ashley Candelarios tuned in talking about it. She's got a new episode dropping tomorrow. Maybe I'm doing it as well. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic about it. But that's not a great completion percentage, right? Like 60% of your passes is not a great completion percentage. And yet we're making it seem as though Shedeur Sanders did something great. Now, granted, again, he's in the best position you can be in. The backup quarterback is always the most popular guy on the team. Augustine saying, is being this critical good or bad for a rookie quarterback in his first preseason game? You're gonna have the weight of expectation, right? Like even though you were a 5th round draft pick, even though Ashley Candelaria is saying that's how low the expectations were. I guess when you set the bar so low, it's easy to exceed them, right? The same thing that I do with everything in my life. I set the bar so low that whenever I exceed it, everyone's like, oh my God, look at you. I just like getting a compliment every now and then. And Augustine saying, and could we do a comparison of quarterbacks before, whenever we're talking about rookie quarterbacks and stuff like that? Again, I'm trying not to be hyperbolic about it. I'm just saying, like, don't get too high, don't get too low on Shedeur Sanders. But if I'm watching social media like I was yesterday, right? Like, I get off of work. The Chihuahuas had a day game, so I got off of work at about 4 o'clock. Went from 8 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I look at social media, right? As I get home, I'm looking at social media. And it's all the stuff about like how great Shedeur Sanders was playing. So I thought to myself, okay, well, he must have had a phenomenal game, right? Like he had to have done something. Then you bring it up, Augustine, and you remind me, okay, maybe I got to go and look and see what Shedeur Sanders did. And I see 14 of 23 for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the 2 touchdowns are okay, right? Like, okay, good. You're getting points scored. That's the way to do it. But 138 and 14 of 23 isn't super inspiring, right? Like if like I want to see what Joe Milton did for the Dallas Cowboys. I didn't even look at that. Let's see what Joe Milton did for the Dallas Cowboys. If I could find it. Joe Milton has a 58.6%, so 1.4% completion percentage lower than Shedeur Sanders. 143 passing yards, which is better than Shedeur Sanders. And a touchdown. Threw an interception. Like it's basic, right? Like no one's talking about how great. Augustine saying aren't those numbers comparable to Lamar? You can say that, right? Like you can say, okay, well, those passing numbers are comparable to Lamar Jackson. Let's see where Lamar Jackson was last year in completion percentage. I remember reading his name off this long list. Lamar Jackson completed 66%, 66.7% of his passes. But let's say those are comparable numbers to Lamar Jackson. Well, Lamar Jackson also runs the ball really well. Shedeur Sanders had 19 yards rushing. 19 yards rushing. That's not great. Right? Like that's not something that I'm looking at and being like, oh, okay, I'm inspired by all this. Let's see. Did Lamar Jackson even play a preseason game? I'm looking it up. I want to see if they even have stats. There we go. Exit out of it. Exit out of the ads. Jesus Christ. This is how you know journalism is dying. Because everything is behind a paywall. I thought this was going to be an actual article. Rookie quarterback Lamar Jackson posted a 134.6 quarterback rating, throwing for 98 yards and a touchdown, and running for 39 yards and another score in one quarter. One quarter. Comparable to Shedeur Sanders' 2 quarters. Shedeur had more passing yards, but much less in the running yards. And a lower quarterback rating than Lamar Jackson's 134.6. That's Lamar Jackson's very first preseason game. It was the third quarter against the Miami Dolphins a long, long time ago. I'm trying to figure out the year on this. But that's the article. Tommy Cadanza saying he had a good game, but not great, but good. It was impressive for a rookie playing his first NFL game, though. I'll give him that. That's my thing, though, is, and I didn't, I know it sounds like I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth whenever I say this, right? Like, our guy from El Paso, Deion Hankins, caught a touchdown in the preseason yesterday. And if you remember going back to the beginning of this show, I said caught his first preseason touchdown. That's not going to count in the stat books, right? A preseason game is not an NFL game. It's just flatly not. It's practice. It's whatever it is. It's all that stuff. And I'm excited to see Deion Hankins, El Paso's own Parkland High School Matador, getting an opportunity with the Chicago Bears, him getting a touchdown. I love seeing that. But I also know that it's the preseason. And I feel like he even would say it's the preseason. This doesn't count, right? Like, I feel like a lot of people would say that this doesn't count. And I don't feel like you should get too high or you should get too low, because the weight of expectation is going to be such that if you were to have Shedeur Sanders go out there in his very first NFL game against, let's say, the Philadelphia Eagles or the Dallas Cowboys or some team like that should have a pretty solid defense, and he just shits the bed. Oh, well, he looked so good in the preseason. Like, he was good with this and that and blah, 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 blah. It's not the case. It's a bunch of backups out there trying to make a team. Shedeur Sanders is going to be on that team no matter what. I know the Browns have 6 quarterbacks. He's going to be one of those quarterbacks, because 47 told Jimmy Haslam to do so. I think this next preseason game, we'll see, right? Like, Kenny Pickett should be a little more healthy. Dylan Gabriel, I just got right now, is going to be back. Like, he's now healthy. So now you're going to see Dylan Gabriel versus Shedeur Sanders for the number 1 quarterback spot. And like Kami said, the competition in a preseason game has more talent than a regular college game. And I agree with that 100%. Right? Like, even the worst guy on the bench in the NFL is exponentially better than the last guy on a bench in college. You know why? Because the last guy on the bench in college didn't make it to the NFL. Even if you're the last guy on the bench in the NFL, you're still the top 1% of the top 1% of the top 1% of the top 1%. You're in the NFL. It's like going back and watching. I see that we're joined by Drea Thomas. Shout out to my girl, Drea Thomas. It's like going back and to that old adage of like, could the last guy on the bench in the NBA beat the best street ball players out there? And Brian Scalabrine, who I know a lot of people are going to be like, who the hell is Brian Scalabrine? Did that. After he retired from the NBA, he went to street ball competition, had a thing called the Scallenge, where he challenged the best street ball basketball players out there who were talking shit about how he was a scrub to a one-on-one game. And he absolutely dominated them. Only 1 out of the 10 players that he played even got a bucket. And that's Brian Scalabrine, the lowest rated player on NBA 2K in NBA 2K history, dominating professional street ball basketball players. So yeah, I agree. Like, the talent in a preseason game is much better than it is in college. But that goes on both sides, right? Like, Shedeur Sanders is playing and throwing the ball to more talented players than what he had at Colorado. We just got to wait till we get to the actual season, the real season, so that we can make our assessments, right? Like Joe Milton, phenomenal, right? Like what you've seen in practice looks great. But we also have, as Augustine would know, as a New England Patriots fan, you also have the ability to look back at Joe Milton in the NFL's regular season and say to yourself, oh, okay, he's done some stuff, right? He started a game last year for the New England Patriots, completed 76% of his passes for 240 yards, had a touchdown, right? Like, oh, okay, he can do something. He can do something. You saw it in an NFL game, 6th round pick. That gives you hope. You saw it in real action, in real time, in the highest spots possible. You saw it. Will you get that with Shedeur? And I don't think you should get too high, and I don't think you should get too low. They were okay numbers. But for the article on ESPN and all of these places to be out there like, oh my God, he showed amazing accuracy. Amazing accuracy. Parenthetically, he would have been the 47th best passer in the NFL last year. The 47th best with that completion percentage. Not great. That's a backup quarterback. That's backup quarterback land. There's only 32 starting quarterbacks, which means there were 15 backups better than Shedeur Sanders' current starting or current stats. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. It's preseason football. Nobody cares about preseason football. At least you shouldn't. Unless you're like a degenerate gambler and you're out here just putting money out there because you got that kind of bread and that kind of flow. You shouldn't get too high. You shouldn't get too low. It was an okay game. Tommy says it was good. I'll go with Tommy and say it was good. It wasn't great. It was solid. It's what you want to see out of your backup quarterback. If I had my starting quarterback out there, I'd want to see a much higher completion percentage. I'd want to see more yards. But we're not going to get starters in the preseason. It just doesn't happen anymore. Once again, I feel like I'm get off my lawn guy. Get off my lawn. It's funny. I was talking about that movie the other day while we were at work. Gran Torino. If you haven't seen that movie with Clint Eastwood, see it. Great movie. I also feel like Clint Eastwood did that role specifically so he could say racial slurs. With the amount of times that he was dropping racial slurs, Clint Eastwood in that movie, I feel like it had to have been what he wanted to do his whole life. And he got it done. Don't get too high on Shedeur Sanders. Don't get too low on your team if your team lost. It's the preseason. None of these games matter. Once again, the Kansas City Chiefs lost to the Arizona Cardinals, and the New York Jets beat the Green Bay Packers in the preseason. It doesn't matter. I want to see if it was that season. So it had to be 2008. Yep. There you go. Yep. I think I was right with this one. The Lions in 2008 went 0-16. 0-16 in the regular season. But they also went 4-0 in preseason. This is back in the day when you had 4 preseason games. 4-0 in the preseason translated to 0-16 in the regular season. The preseason doesn't mean a thing. We got our guy Ray Jackson from locally sourced El Paso tuning in right now. Good morning to you, Ray. Hope that you're having yourself a fantastic day, my friend. New episodes of Locally Sourced El Paso are out all over the place. Please follow, like, subscribe, do all those things. Help out my friends. I like to see the people around me succeeding. The Lions went 4-0 in the preseason and then finished the regular season 0-16. I want to say the same thing happened with the Cleveland Browns, but I'm not 100% sure. That's what I was searching up right now. And if you remember, in those preseason games, which you probably don't, the Lions absolutely dominated the preseason. They outscored their opponents 80-32. Tip, are you going to be on with me this weekend for fantasy football talk? What day? Let me know days. Let me know days. I can be there. We were talking preseason. How are people so hype about Shedeur Sanders in his first preseason game? I agree. It was wild to me. And I get it. Like, people, I'm not hating on Shedeur Sanders, right? Like, I don't pray for anybody's downfall. Don't get my words twisted here. I just don't want the kid, because at the end of the day, he's a kid, to get so high up that, you know, mentally so high up that it winds up being a place where he just comes crashing down to earth. Like I don't want to see that. And I feel like that's what a bunch of people are doing, is they're setting him up for failure, right? The Crooked Commission saying Wednesday night, my bad. I got you on Wednesday night. I don't have to work until Thursday, so I should be good. Ray Jackson saying same. I would love to see him do well, and that's my thing too. Like, if you've listened to me for a long time, you'll know that, like, I've got a soft spot for the Cleveland Browns. I always had there's a part of me that hates the fact that team and that franchise suffered for so long just for them to move to Baltimore in the middle of the night and win 2 Super Bowls. Those should have been Cleveland's Super Bowls. But they just got their heart ripped out, and then now they're back to being the lowly Browns, right? Those Ravens Super Bowls should have been Cleveland Super Bowls. Though that fan base has to just be despondent, right? You stole our team the same way the Indianapolis stole the Colts from you. You steal our team, and then you go on to have the success our team should have had. Think about how different we would have looked at the Cleveland Browns if they had stayed in Cleveland instead of moving to Baltimore. We're talking about Ray Lewis and Ed Reed on the Cleveland Browns. They would have been a Super Bowl perennial playoff team, the Cleveland Browns. It's not like the Houston Texans and the Houston Oilers, right? Like the Oilers going to Tennessee. The Oilers didn't really have any success after they moved to Tennessee. The Ravens leave Cleveland and then find all this success with picks that they had from being in Cleveland. That to me is like heartbreaking. That's why I have a little soft spot for Cleveland. Like I want to see Cleveland do well. Give those fans something. It was also weird to me whenever I first started doing this, like I told people before in the past, I wanted to be a newspaper writer. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to cover teams for a newspaper. And then I saw that no one really reads the newspaper anymore, and I don't think that it's fair for newspapers to charge people to read the news, right? Like I hate seeing stuff behind a paywall. Paywalls to me it's bullshit. And I wrote some articles for a company that was called 27 Outs, and then I was like a freelancer doing like my own little thing, had my own website. And I had predicted that the Cleveland Browns were going to come, or not the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland Cavaliers were going to come back on the Golden State Warriors in the 2015 or 16, it had to be 16, NBA Finals. Predicted it. It went exactly that way. Wound up getting over 250,000 views on my website, a whole influx of followers on X from Cleveland. So if you ever notice, you go through my followers on X, you'll see about half of them are from Cleveland. Wild how all that stuff works out. Ashley Condolalia saying, I think he's enjoying learning from others outside of his dad. From here, he hopefully is like a sponge and takes it all in. And I think that that's all that we can hope for, right? As fans of the NFL, as fans of just wanting to see people do well. I want to see Shedeur Sanders do well. I also don't want to hype him up so much that if he has another game like this 2 years from now, that people are like, oh my God, look how terrible Shedeur Sanders is. He plateaued at 60% completion percentage. We thought it was great. And then he's going to think the same way. Like, y'all thought it was great 2 years ago. Why'd you turn on me now? Oh, well. C'est la vie. Ashley going on to say, I also have a soft spot for the Browns. LOL. Her daughter, Sydney, is a fan. Yes. Yes. The soft spot for the Browns. That sucks, man. Like, I can only imagine you root for this team your whole life. They've been through so much trauma and struggle just to watch them move to Baltimore and win 2 Super Bowls. Your team should have won you 2 Super Bowls. You get them back, you don't even have the history anymore. Man, that sucks. That's okay, though. All right, everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning into today's show. It was a weird one. Weird show today, but you know what? I like it. Most of my shows are weird anyway, but I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. Thank you all so much for being a part of today's show. We will be back tomorrow. Have yourself a great day, everybody.